Yet the fact that so few people do actually read the Quran is precisely why it's so easy to quote, that is, to misquote. Phrases and snippets taken out of context in what I call the highlighter version, which is the one favored by both Muslim fundamentalists and anti-Muslim Islamophobes. I know many well-intentioned non-Muslims who've begun reading the Quran but given up, disconcerted by its otherness. Part of the problem, I think, is that we imagine that the Quran can be read as we usually read a book, as though we can curl up with it on this rainy afternoon with a bowl of popcorn within reach, as though God, and the Quran is entirely in the voice of God speaking to Muhammad, were just another author on the bestseller list. This past spring, as I was gearing up to begin writing a biography of Muhammad, I realized I needed to read the Quran properly. A degree of environmental awareness, for instance, and of humans as mere stewards of God's creation, unmatched in the Bible. And where the Bible is addressed exclusively to men, using the second and third person masculine, the Quran includes women, talking, for instance, of believing men and believing women, honorable men and honorable women. Or take the infamous verse about killing the unbelievers. Yes, it does say that, but in a very specific context, the anticipated conquest of the sanctuary city of Mecca, where fighting was usually forbidden. And the permission comes hedged about with qualifiers. Not you must kill unbelievers in Mecca, but you can, you are allowed to, but only after a grace period is over. And only if there's no other pact in place. And only if they try to stop you getting to the Kaaba. And only if they attack you first. And even then, God is merciful, forgiveness is supreme, and so, essentially, better if you don't. This was perhaps the biggest surprise, how flexible the Quran is, at least in minds that are not fundamentally inflexible.
Beautiful. I love this, guys. Okay.
How many, this is their first time being in a mosque? Oh my goodness. That's a problem. Okay. That's a problem. This is where it all starts. As we said, we don't get to know each other much. That we pass through this building or other buildings every day, and we don't know what's going on inside. What's going on inside is what you see now. You came in, there's nothing special. It's a hall of prayer. We have kids who recite the Quran and they learn it. A lot of people are thinking, okay, are we allowed to come only today? Or because of this? No, you're allowed to come anytime. Okay? There is a verse in the Quran that states clearly, Allah does not forbid you from being nice, just, to the ones who do not fight you or cause harm to you, meaning in religion. You are ordered to be just and fair with them. That's all of us today. Anybody came here for harm today? I hope not. We came all today to listen to one another, to build that relation despite the difference. As the rabbi was speaking, we do have differences. The problem nowadays is that a lot of people hear about us. They almost never hear from us. It's all from the outside. I would like you to hear verses from the Quran recited. Maybe this is your first time, maybe not. Then I'll try to translate after he finishes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير.
bet you've never seen a Muslim argue about their religion the same way you've seen a Christian argue about their religion. I've always wondered why Muslims handle like disagreements about religion with so much grace. But once again, the Quran literally just told me why. So Surah 29 verse 48 says, "Do not argue with the people of the book unless gracefully, and say, we believe in what has been revealed to us and what has been revealed to you. Our God and your God is one and the same." There's no point in arguing with someone when you're literally on the same side. Whether or not Christians or Jews believe that, our God is one and the same. And it even goes into talking about why Muhammad was the messenger and why he had not read the previous scriptures, the Torah or the Bible, because if he had, people would have thought, just a bunch of BS, he's just copying these books. And the Quran explains how the Quran is a confirmation of those messengers and of their books. It's like a basic concept to understand. They are simply messengers of God, sharing essentially the same story, the same revelation, the same book about the same God. There really is no place for argument when each of these books is one and the same. I have so much respect for Islam because the way they handle things is just like another level. It's so opposite of what people actually see them as.
Alright guys, so let's start with the first video, whereas the woman was talking to a group of people about Islam, about Quran. And one thing I love, that one statement she made that I love so much, said you cannot read Quran like the way you read book. It's a spiritual book. You can't read it like the way you read novel or book. It's something that you have to deeply understand. You need to take your time and read it and connect to it. And she spoke a lot about Quran, talking about Islam, why she respects Quran and Islam so much. And that was a beautiful video. I really love our discussions regarding Islam and Quran. And the next video, the man was in the mosque asking every people in the mosque how many of them are first-time Muslim, and he was surprised that a lot of people in the mosque presently at that time were first-timers. They just reverted to Islam, like they just accepted Islam. So he was like, oh wow, amazing. And one thing that he said that I love so much was, he said you can come to mosque at any time. It doesn't have to be only on prayer day, which is Fridays. You can come to mosque at any time. Anytime you come to the mosque is always free and open for everybody to come. He tried to encourage them to learn more about Islam, what Islam entails, Prophet Muhammad, who Allah is. And I just love his communication with his congregation. You could see how they were all relaxed. No, there's no way you'll be in that kind of atmosphere and you will not understand what the preacher, the teacher, or the imam is saying, because he was talking so calmly, relaxed, and he said it in a very comprehensive way. And I love the way he connected with his congregation. So later on he said, okay, they should do Quran recitation, and that Quran recitation was a powerful one, talking about Allah, about God, the existence of God, and why you should move closer to God and everything. Then the last video, the lady spoke about why Muslims always handle debate so well, with so much grace. You will notice that anytime you listen to a debate between a Muslim and a Christian, majority, most of the time, Muslims are always winning. They are not all about the winning per se. They are about them passing the message, the goodwill message, and passing message about Islam. And one thing I know about Muslims is that they are always calm with their debates. Unless if you are being aggressive with them, that's when they turn to be aggressive with you. But whenever they are in a debate with a Christian, the way they talk about the topic, you know that they've done enough research, not only on their book, on Quran, they've done their research on Bible and Quran. Whereas when Christians come to have a debate with a Muslim, they only focus on their own book, which is Bible. That's the reason why at the end of the day, it look as if the Muslim has a better chance of winning the Christian, or has a better knowledge, because they read the two books. They don't go for a debate unprepared. Whenever they go for a debate, they must read And some of them even quote some verses in the Bible to back their point why Islam remains the one and only true religion. In which when Christians come to debate with them, they only have their facts or their proof on Bible. And when it's now time for them to reference to the Quran, they find it difficult to give a reference to the Quran because they don't, they did not do their research on the Quran. So that's why, Muslims handle debate with so much, with so much grace. They handle it so well. And I love the fact that the ladies read some of the surah from the Quran to back her points why Muslims handle debate very well. Let me know your point of view, guys. Let's keep this discussion going. Thank you so much for clicking. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more. Like, share, and comment. I'll see you in the next one.